here, and John, I got to ask you this, man. So I went back and I had forgotten that you guys beat Miami in the way that game ended, and I went back and I watched the end of the MAC championship game, and I mean this sincerely. It looked like that pained you for the way that game ended. Like you went down, I watched the video, you grabbed your knees. It looked like it hurt to go over there and shake Travis's your hand. Obviously, Travis is your brother. What was that moment like where on the one hand, you are winning an unbelievable, incredible game. It was thrilling. And on the other hand, you got to go and shake your brother's hand who was on the other side of that.
Well, obviously, we were elated that we won and had great confidence throughout the 18-point deficit, to be honest with you. There was no panic in our group. Our guys, we had an older group, and we just kind of stayed with it. It was obviously an odd ending. Amani comes up with a big-time rebound after Tavari's great shot challenge and contest at the rim on Ipsaro. Great outlet pass, and then Nate Johnson with a great slow Euro step, skill development finish to win the game. So it wasn't really odd until I shook his hand, Rob, to be honest with you. I didn't think about it until that point because all day I kept that out of the equation. I know obviously the media has a job to do and has to make that a storyline, but I think Tavari would tell you that I didn't mention it one time the entire day leading into the game. I just didn't think it was fair to our players and their players for that to be the storyline, quite frankly. I thought it was two really good basketball teams that were both playing really well down the stretch, and that the emphasis needed to be on the teams and the individual players that were on both sides. So, but once I shook his hand, obviously you feel that a little bit, right? For sure. And, aside from certainly when we're playing them, I'm always rooting for them, but not when the Zips are playing them.
Mm-hmm. Hey, John, you've gone to the tournament now 3 of the last 4 years, won at least 22 games all 4 years, 66 and 26 in league play since 2020. Absolutely crazy. You lose Nate Johnson. I'm thinking, man, it's going to be a rebuild. Like, how is it not in this day of mid-major basketball where, you guys get, crushed through the portal. And instead you're picked first in the preseason. You bring back a lot of key pieces, including Tavari. I guess the biggest thing to me is like, were you surprised at all about the retention? Because these days you don't know, like you just have no idea how it's going to play out. Again, relationships matter still. We know that, but money generally matters a little bit more in a lot of cases.
Yeah, and I think it's a combination, Jeff, of 4 things. I'll be very candid, and this is how I really feel about it. Number one, we've won. I mean, to win 5 regular season / conference tournament championships in a 6-year window, only 7 teams in all of college basketball have done that. You mentioned the record we've had in league play. Our home record the last 2 years is 44-2. We're first in the country with Houston right behind us at 44-3. So the winning helps certainly with retention. I think secondly, the culture. Tavari would tell you, we really do. You hear it all the time and it can become cliche, but we have good dudes. Like there isn't one guy who's a, jackass in that locker room. There really isn't. And we try to purposely make it. Yeah, just the coach. That's right. We try to make it sure that we continue to honor that, who we have in there, and pay particular attention to who we bring into the environment and to the culture. So we've got really good guys and a good culture. We win. Every guy's graduated that's exhausted their eligibility, and every player's went on to play professional basketball over 9 years that's been a scholarship player. So all those things certainly attract people to want to be here and to want to stay. But on top of that, we've also had NIL. And relative to our league, it's been good. So I think all those things together kind of give you a formula as to why we've been able to, retain. You mentioned relationships. We take a lot of pride in that. My assistant coaches are great. We've got a lot of continuity, which is also atypical. We've lost one assistant who moved basically back to Huntington where his wife's from, his son lives, his grandkids are, and all of us staff and support staff stay in touch with Rob and are real close with Rob. So we've had a lot of continuity. That's offered us a lot of stability. And I think it's all those things together that have allowed us to retain at kind of an abnormally high level in this era and environment.
All right, Tavari, let's get you in here because you are a point guard. You are a player that has the ball in your hands. And you guys last season went from being a team that averaged about 65 possessions your first 2 years to being a top 15 team in terms of pace and tempo. You guys went from playing slow to playing like this. And I got to imagine as a point guard, that was a pretty fun thing for you to be able to do.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun last year. And it was also just a compliment with the guys around me that made it easy for me to play in that type of game style with Bowen, Seth, Zay, Nate. Like you said, we had a lot of guys that could put it on the floor and shoot it at a high level. So that playing style was really fun to play with because of the guys I had with me.
How much of an adjustment was that for you to go from playing something that was a little bit more possession by possession to getting out in transition and running?
It wasn't a very difficult. I used to play like that in high school. With my AAU teams in high school, we used to play pretty fast. So it was probably a bigger adjustment, like slowing down when we were throwing to the post and running a play every time down, and then we got back to what I'm used to pretty much. So it was a easy adjustment for me.
You were able to take the parking brake off finally. It's like, Coach, I've been here for 3 years, and you're finally going to let me get out here and run?
Yeah.
Tavar will remind you that post player was named Freeman, who got drafted in the NBA draft in the second round and was third in the country in points per possession in the post behind Zach Edey and B.J. Burns, and tied David Robinson for the most double-doubles in a single season in college basketball history. And on top of that, Jeff had him on one of his shows, and he loves Jeff. So, Rob, don't hold that against Jeff, because Reek had a great time with Jeff. So there was a reason that we were playing that way, in other words, and T knows that.
Yeah, we had a pretty good player.
Yeah, and Tavari, we did. I told Reek that the moment he retires, he replaces Rob. I'll have a real co-host in here who knows what the hell they're doing. All right, John, what have you challenged Tavari with, though, that he needs to do better this year? Obviously, he was great last year, but now there's going to be even more pressure on him this season.
Well, first of all, he's grown just in so many ways, person, student, player during his 4 years here. I'm really proud of him. And a lot of the guys have. But I've challenged him to be more vocal. He's done that. I challenged him to be in the best shape of his career. Obviously, he knows how we play relative to last year. We're playing the same way this year, tried to play even faster. He's done that. I thought heading into preseason, he was in the best cardio shape he's been in his career. He's a guy that comes early, guy who stays late, guy who takes care of his body. And so that's important when you have freshmen and newcomers. They're watching Tavari. They know how good a player that he is. We all recognize that. But it's how good a person he is, how good a teammate he is, how hard he works, how he approaches recovery and treatment, getting there early, staying late, being more vocal, really doing a good job helping some of our younger guys that we're developing as well. Like you take a guy like Ty Perkins, who's a freshman, that was the Ohio Division II Player of the Year. T's done a good job because T was in that spot once. You know, before T, there was Christian Jackson. Then there was Xavier Castaneda. And then T played with Castaneda, learned a lot from him and Greg. And now T's in that position. And now he has that responsibility to pass the torch a little bit and get outside of himself. And I think he's really done that, Jeff. Really, really proud of his growth, not only on the court, but obviously off the court as importantly.
Evan Mahaffey coming in, John, from Ohio State. What have you seen from him, and what kind of impact can Akron fans expect to have out of him coming into the program?
T will tell you, he'll make an impact. You know, he's a guy, I think, that does a little bit of everything, rebounds it, passes it really well, has had an incredible assist-to-turnover ratio here in preseason practice for a guy that's a wing forward. Gets deflections, blocks shots, great defender, great mover, good vertically, has really worked very hard on his shot, has become a better shooter. He's a really, really good player and will certainly be an impactful one for us.
How are Evan and Eric in practice together, Tavari? Do they go at it? Do they get along? Are they Give me the dynamic there.
I mean, it depends on the day. If they're on different teams, they've definitely had their moments where it's like you could tell they're brothers, like they're fighting like brothers, you know. But you know, they're great. They play well together. They're both great additions to the team. Well, Eric's obviously been on the team, but hurt last year. So yeah, having them both on the court is going to be special for them and for us. So it's going to be cool to see.
How are they different in players, John? How are Evan and Eric different in kind of their roles and their skill sets?
Yeah, I'd say the two similarities, Jeff, would be their athleticism and their brain. They're really smart players. And they're very good movers athletically, whether that's laterally, vertically, running, good athletes. So those are the similarities. Both of them can really pass it. Eric is a great cutter. They both rebound it well. They're both developing and really worked hard in the area of shooting and have gotten better there. You know, obviously Evan's a little bit taller and maybe a little bit longer. Eric's more of a guard / wing, and Evan's more of a wing / forward. But both of them are certainly going to be a big part of what we do. You know, Eric's interesting. T mentioned him getting hurt. You know, last year he came in as a 17, bordering on 18-year-old freshman that still should have been a senior in high school. And T will tell you, he started the first scrimmage because he earned it and played 20-some minutes and was really playing well. And then he got hurt and had the season-ending injury. So Lord's blessed him and us with health thus far. And, you know, he's played really well. Like this past week, he was the practice player of the week for the whole team. So he's really emerging. We kind of saw that he had that in him last year. Unfortunately, he just got dinged up a little bit, and that derailed his season.
All right, last one I got for you, T, is you're kind of stepping in here as not probably not the first year you've been a leader, but now you're the senior, you're the point guard, you're the first team all-league guy in the preseason. How have you kind of tried to shoulder a little bit of that leadership? This is my team. I'm going to take ownership of this kind of a role.
Just with my voice and actions, really. Not trying to overtalk the guys and try to make them think that I'm bigger than them because I've been here longer. Trying to coexist with them, trying to teach them along the way, bring them with me in a way, and kind of show them how to do it. Like sometimes guys don't need you to yell at them; they just need to see it, and that's really what I'm trying to do with every drill, defensive slide drills, 5-out drills where we're just guarding air and just talking. Like those are the drills that I try to be the loudest, so guys see that I'm out there talking, and then when they go out there for the drill and their rep, they're out there trying to be as loud as me.
All right. Well, John, Tavari, it's great to see you guys. Best of luck this season. Make sure you get some cough drops there, John. I know it's still early in the season.
I will for sure, man. My voice is struggling. You're right. I will say this, obviously, because I know this is going to be, aired. But rest in peace, Terry Weimer. Great person, obviously a great official, meant a lot to our profession, certainly to not only the officiating community, but to us coaches. When he was on your game, he was a pleasure to have just because he was such a great communicator and he owned everything. And he was easy to talk to and he didn't miss very many, extremely accurate, but just a good person, down to earth, really enjoyed it when he was on our games. I think all of us as coaches, certainly for the most part, felt very comfortable with that because of his accuracy and the way that he handled himself. So God bless him and his family. Going through this time right now, we certainly thinking about Terry.
Well said, John. Well said.
Well said. Yep. Well, appreciate you guys being here. The Akron Zips, John Gross and Tavari Johnson. Best of luck this season, fellas.
Thanks, guys.
Hey, thanks, guys.